Before I started the podcast, I want to mention that I am offering online coaching now, which you can do a full immersion program where we have 8 calls via Skype or whatever platform. And we basically go over every module that we would do in an in person immersion. However, you could be in LA, you can be in Europe, you can be in a different city in Korea, and we would be able to work together, mentor together specifically on your sticking points, and yet also get all of the information and lectures you would get in person. And also, another advantage is since I'm able to listen to your audio files on your dates and your sets, you're getting the full month of, getting guided coaching, getting or being able to identify sticking points and then how to work on those sticking points. And you can do this all remotely for the first time. So I'm offering that program at only 1/3 the price of an actual immersion program. So if anyone's interested in that, hit me up at ketherk@yahoo.com or KETHERK at yahoo.com, or just join the Facebook group, which is on pickupkorea.com. So yeah, working with a few guys these days, and a lot of quick progress in a short amount of time. So if you're interested in that, be sure to drop me a line. Welcome to the Pickup Korea podcast, and today I want to talk about progress in the game and also managing your expectations. So this is a very big thing. So a lot of people who get into this and want to improve their dating life, perhaps take some coaching or read a book or go out there and try to approach women and improve, they realize there's a lot to work on oftentimes, and a lot of it has to do with unwiring bad habits, stopping doing certain behaviors, but then also overlaying new habits, new positive mindsets, new understandings of social dynamics, and new behaviors. And this can take time because, like anything, if you have a bad habit, or first of all, you don't even know you have the bad habit, right? You're unconsciously incompetent. Then perhaps you take some coaching, or you start taking notes and going through what you can improve. You become a little bit consciously aware that you're incompetent. You know that there's a problem, or you know that there are things to fix, right? And so it's at this stage that you're able to identify the problem, but then you have to continue to work on it, right? So for a lot of students, this could be maybe leadership, leading the girl, approaching and taking action, really. For others, it could be the way they're communicating. Maybe they talk too soft, or their voice tone is off, or perhaps they're not really communicating their emotions. They're not expressing a range of emotions. So it could look very dry, like this informational, interviewee exchange that doesn't really inspire the girl to, it's not compelling. It's not an experience, really. So a lot of people are working on that. There's several different areas that you'll be working on. And the main thing is really just repetition, trying to work on different stuff, or identifying what you need to work on, and then going out there, putting in the reps, and, solidifying these behaviors, these mindsets. And eventually the emotions, the results catch up, right? And so what I've been realizing is a lot of newer guys will get into this, and they have, bad habits or things to work on, and their expectations are really high, right? So, for example, they'll have a small breakthrough, and instead of savoring or congratulating themselves on these, fixing these habits and enjoying the small improvements, their expectations are to the sky, right? Like I gave an analogy. It's kind of like they just started a business and they got their first client. Now they're like, okay, when am I going to make the $1 million, right? They expect so much, right? And so a lot of it comes down to managing your expectations and being consistent with progress, right? So just like anything, if you're going to try to get in shape or build a business per se, you're going to have to refine your process, refine your diet, refine your exercises, keep getting gains, as they say. Or in the case of business, you're going to have to refine your marketing funnel, refine your product continuously, right? Until one thing kind of builds on the other, and then finally you have a lucrative business, or perhaps you have a good body or something along those lines, right? In that case, you're aware you're eating crap, and maybe every now and then you slip into eating those donuts or whatever. But eventually, if the goal is really important to you, you're going to, um, overcome these bad habits, instill new good habits, and eventually get to that goal, in this case, the body that you want, right? And so along the way, managing your expectations and having patience is really important, right? And the thing is, you really have to enjoy each step of the way. Like I remember when I was, learning this and everything, each little breakthrough, each little amazing experience, each new experience, each thing that I learned, each date was unique, special, something to take away from it, a new milestone. There's several small milestones on the way. And if you're not enjoying that, you're not really, I think that your motivation long term is not going to be good, because you're just thinking about the next thing rather than enjoying each step along the way, and this process of, learning about yourself, refining your basically personal development, and then, interacting with girls, enjoying the love of people, love of meeting new girls, and enjoying the process itself, right? And yeah, it is very natural that you want what you want. However, if you need it too much, likely you're not going to get it. But if you're persistent and you fix these things, and you go out there, you put in the work, it's basically inevitable. It's basically, it is inevitable as long as you actually go out there and do it. So that's definitely one thing that I wanted to talk about today with, newer guys that are coming into the game. I think that perhaps YouTube or the current generation of like quick fixes, you just want your Instagram, you want your delivery food, you want 6-minute abs or whatever have you, right? That the guys that are good at this that I all met, I mean, I think realistically, if you go really hard in a year, you can get really good. Perhaps 1 to 2 years. Definitely 1 if you go really hard, but that'll be at the sacrifice of other things, right? And so, but to get to a competent level, depending on where you're at, I would say maybe it could be anywhere from a few months to around there, a few months to 6 months, as long as you put in the work. But knowing that, getting really good can take a year, 2 years, and getting to an adequate level could take a month, 2, 3, 4, just depending on how much time you're putting in and what specific things you're working on, really, right? Everyone's different starting point. So that being said, along the way, it's not like you're not getting any results or any improvements along the path of a few months, but you will be getting those, and it's a matter of giving yourself congratulating yourself for each little step that you take and enjoying the process, right? It's very, very, very important. And so, I guess another topic is that I always get is like hot girls versus average girls, and I think that's a kind of a useful topic, because you'll find that when it comes to this area, there are some guys who really just want the super, super, super hot girls, or, at a relatively, what would you say, like relatively picky or relatively high level of attractiveness. Other guys want, anywhere from average to super hot or what have you, right? So for the guys that are really selective with the girls and they're only approaching really hot girls, that can be good, that can be bad, because they're not, initially maybe they're not getting enough experience, enough reps on dates, or enough approaches, right, to actually become comfortable around women and with the whole process itself. But they're going to limit their amount of approaches just because there's not as many of those types of girls, right? And then also, it is a very, I mean, it's well known, but the really, really, really hot girls, not only are they rare, but they have so many guys hitting them up. They have busy, crazy lives. Maybe they work at night in a hostess bar. They're doing modeling gigs. They're flying all over the place. They have, getting wine dined, have a bunch of orbiter dudes perhaps, or a bunch of dudes they're dating. And so they live a very hectic schedule, hectic life, up and down, timing can be a thing. So with them, really oftentimes a lot of it is timing, the moment that you approach them, the moment you texted them. A lot of it is convenience and timing And a lot of it is that, it really is a matter of finding them at the right time and the right place, really. And just, they're into it, right? And so, that being said, since these girls are on this, they're almost operating on a different algorithm of time and emotions and stuff. So with those, inherently, it's going to be hard to get them to meet up, much harder than, an average girl. And so realizing that since it is an issue due to timing, you're going to have to approach a lot of those kind of girls, and the conversion is not going to be as high, of course, right? This is a natural thing just because of the timing factor and their crazy lives and whatnot, right? And so you can't really beat yourself up if you approach 10 really hot girls and they all blow out, or a few of them go well and you get a number or two, they ghost you. It's just part of the game. It's part of the process. And I haven't seen anyone really who is above it. And so happens to everybody. That's why it's good to in the beginning to intermediate levels, good to approach a wide range of girls and get a lot of experience with different girls, and then starting to become more selective as time goes on. And then that way you're comfortable with the process, and the girls you go on dates with, now that you're comfortable with the whole thing, you can choose and be very selective and only go on dates or approach girls that you're extremely excited or attracted to, right? So I think this is a very important thing to understand, because I notice a lot of guys that have high expectations. When they get a number of a hot girl, they think they're gonna, all these girls are gonna meet up, or that they're, that they're extremely available, like some girls may be, right? And so managing your expectations on that, and knowing that in general, just approaching them requires being very comfortable, confident, and relaxed enough around them. But even with a perfect approach, due to their lifestyle, just getting them to meet up is hard. And you never really want to, in every interaction with every girl you approach, you don't want to have expectations that anything's going to happen, yet you're going to try to make something happen. You're going to act on your intent, act on your will, and whether it happens or not, there's many factors. Is she invested? Is she interested? How is her schedule, her mood at the time, and many other factors outside of your control. So that being said, you can only really focus on what you can do, right? And so cultivating the right habits, cultivating the right actions, this is really where you want to put your focus. So I figured that would be a good topic for today, managing expectations, managing progress, giving yourself, congratulating yourself on your progress, and just realizing each week, each day, each month, how far you've come, and what or where or what areas you're working on next, what the next milestones are too. Looking forward to those is also good, but continuing to have no expectations other than what you can control, what you can do. All right, so figure it's a little bit of a short one, but very useful one from an inner game standpoint and from a realistic standpoint on progress and results. Until next time.